Hi, welcome to Art Talk. I'm your host, Andy Jones, but I'm not alone today. I am joined by my buddy, Stephen White.
Hello.
Stephen is usually hidden behind the camera as one of our video editors and audio technicians, so you have probably heard him on some of our videos doing some moderating for us, so it's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Andy, I wore a yellow shirt today because I heard we're painting sunflowers.
We are indeed.
You came into work today and you're wearing your yellow shirt.
Yes.
One of us is gonna have to change. This is not gonna work.
We're gonna have to see if we can overcome that little issue today. I think we've got bigger fish to fry.
Oh boy.
So there's your fish that we're going to be frying today. When Stephen came to work, or basically when anybody comes to work and they join the content and creative team, one of the first questions we always ask is, do you paint? We asked Stephen, do you paint? And he was very quick to say, no, he did not paint. Has that changed since you've been to work here?
No, this will be my first painting in my adult life, so.
Okay, and I will admit that I have seen baby Stephen's painting of a nativity camel. You did that when you were how old?
I think I was 3.
Okay.
The truth of it is I put a bunch of mess on a canvas and then I said, that kind of looks like a camel, so I told people that's what the intention was.
Well, I believed him. It looked like a camel. That was Stephen's last painting event, and now he has been in the studio watching a lot of painting tutorials happen, and now you're in the studio becoming a painting tutorial.
Time to put it to the test.
We are going to put it to the test. Now, one thing that I usually say is that I can teach anybody to paint.
We'll be putting that to the test.
We are going to put that to the test. One thing a person usually needs is a desire to paint.
Okay.
I think we're kind of lacking that, but we're going to do our best to work around that lack of desire, and we're just going to dive into this little painting, and I'm going to tell you what to do, show you what to do, and then you're going to do your thing.
Okay.
And our paintings are not going to look alike. They're going to be very different interpretations, but we're going to have a good time.
Okay.
And that's what painting is really all about. So you're going to grab some titanium white.
That's this one?
That's the one that says titanium white.
Okay.
Yes. And we're just going to put out a nice squirt of that on our palette.
All right. Off to a good start.
Off to a good start. And then look for the bottle that says Prussian blue.
Prussian blue.
Prussian blue. Let's put out a smaller dab of that. Stephen, let's put out a little bit of aqua. That's the color that looks like aqua.
Aqua.
Yes. So we are off to a rip-roaring good start here.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I already have paint on my hands. Is that going to be a problem?
It's not going to be a problem for me.
Okay.
It might be a problem for you, but not a problem for me today. All right, so I am picking up a 1-inch flat brush.
1 inch.
Okay, let's make sure that it's dry, fluffy, ready to go.
Feels good.
All right, so put the tip of the handle in the palm of your hand and grip the brush. All right, that's how we're going to hold our brush.
This feels wrong.
Grab it and pretend you're more like Harry Potter and grab it like a magic wand. There you go. Okay. All right, so I can't cast any Harry Potter spells, but we'll just forego that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to make a brush mix. Let me show you this first, and then you are welcome to dive in. I see your enthusiasm level is probably at about an 8 or 9.
I was trying to channel my desire.
Okay.
Willingness, you know?
All right. Well, let's bring it down just a little bit.
Okay.
All right, and then very, very small amount of Prussian blue because that will take over your mixture. So slow and steady. We're going to make a bluish mixture, and then we're going to start putting that in the background, just like this, slapping it on there. We are not being precise, okay? So you go ahead and get going.
I can go now?
You can go now,
Okay.
yes. Your engine is revved and you are good to go.
I'm trying to remember how you did that. You just hit the little...
Just a little bit like that, and then brush mix it in. There you go.
Okay.
You got this. I am not concerned about you at all. You're going to do just fine.
It makes one of us.
All right.
Making first contact.
Yes. Okay, let me just offer you, no. I'm just going to offer you a tidbit of advice. I have about 10 times more paint on my brush than you do. So go ahead and get some paint on, because I don't want you to, it should be like putting hot butter on bread. Just spread it on there really easily. There you go.
Okay.
Pick up more paint so that it really goes on, and just keep making a brush mix of your Prussian blue and white. And every time you make that little mix, it's going to be a little different, and that's exactly what you want.
That's a good thing.
That's a great thing, yeah.
Okay.
It's right about now you would be moderating for me and saying that somebody asked a question, and now you don't get that luxury. You're just
I'm
going
left to my own devices now. I'm out of my element.
Yes, exactly. We are just used to your mellow voice being the voice of reason in a video, and now you're part of the...
And now I have no rhyme or reason with what I'm doing.
You are, yes you do. You're putting in a modeled background. It's exactly what we are after.
Well, glad you feel confident.
I am very confident in you. I know you're going to do a great job with this, because you wouldn't want to let the entire internet down.
Gosh.
Because that's who's watching you. All right, so I'm going to just continue to go all the way around my design, and then I'm going to stare at you while you finish up what you're doing, because
awesome. That makes me feel
I was going to say,
excellent.
nothing makes you more uncomfortable than somebody watching every move you make.
You did that so fast.
Well, yes, thank you. And keep in mind, Stephen, I've been teaching painting since I was 14 years old.
I feel like I'm going to look back at this footage and I'm going to look at how weird my hand looks right now and how I'm holding the brush. Is this still right?
Just grab it like that. Just be comfortable with it.
Okay.
And use more paint.
I didn't know if the way I held my brush was really going to change the end result.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
And I will explain that to you, because if you are holding your paintbrush like a pencil,
like that,
you are going to be painting very tightly and very precisely. When you hold the brush back at the end of the handle, you are going to be painting in what will look like a much more relaxed way of painting. So that's what we're after.
That's what we're going for. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Again, more paint on your brush, because you want to, just go ahead and dig in the white paint there. There you go. Okay. Now, doesn't that feel like it's going to be easier to paint with?
It's gliding now.
That's exactly what we want.
All right. We're on track here.
You are on track. You're doing a great job.
And are we worried about crossing these lines?
No,
these
we
petals?
are not. And go ahead and cross them. Come into them a little bit, because we don't want to have an outline of white around our flowers into our background.
This feels a little dark over here.
It's going to be okay. Just put it next to your vase.
Just put it on?
Yeah, put it on.
Okay.
And then just kind of crisscross and soften it up a little bit.
I've heard people call that slip slap around here. Is that what we're doing?
You can slip slap, you can do a loose kind of crisscross motion, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
We are Bob Rossing it today.
All right.
It's your world. You get to make it whatever you want.
Now, at what point are we satisfied with this background here?
All right. I want you to look at your background, and if you don't see any areas that look harsh, or everything's kind of softly blended here.
Uh-oh.
You're not far away from that. You've got a little area here that I think I would just soften that a little bit.
Sure.
But that's about it. It's a very loose. There you go. Okay. See how easy that was to cover that up?
Yeah.
Mistakes are easily painted over. You don't have to fret and worry about that at all. There you go. All right, so I'm going to give you just a minute more to mess with that, and then we are going to start in on our vase.
Okay, I'm going to mess with it.
Well, I'm going to give you just a little bit of time, but not too much. All right, little buddy, I think we're just about done with that background.
Okay.
So I think that looks really, really nice. And what we're going to do now is we are going to make sure that our background is dry. So we'll be back as soon as our paint is dry. I'd like to take a minute to thank Plaid Enterprises for sponsoring Art Talk. They are the makers of folk art acrylics, which I absolutely love using. I've used this paint since I was a young tot, and now that I'm an old fart, I still use this paint. We have a 17-piece set that we've curated just for you. Ordering information is in the description below, and we also have great brushes for you. We have a 7-piece set of Folk Art Select Firm Bristle Brushes. These are absolutely incredible. I use them every time I paint. And I've never done that in my entire life. Now, let's get back to our video. We are back and our paintings are dry. And while we were drying our painting, I helped Stephen sketch his vase back on. And you can find the downloadable template in the the link to it in the description below if you want to have that so that you can paint the same design that we are painting. So I just wanted to make sure that the edges of the vase are parallel to the edges of the canvas. That's probably the most important technical aspect of what we're going to be doing today. All right, Stephen, let's put a little bit of pure black out on our palette. And we're gonna need just about that much. That's way too much, but put some out there. And I think you should probably go ahead and put out a little bit more white so that you have that ready to go. And we are going to begin to paint our vase. And I think I'm going to use our 3/4 inch flat brush.
Yeah, oh, hang on.
Yeah, okay. That's the one. All right, so I'm going to do this first. You're going to watch, pay close attention, ask all the questions that you can think of. Okay. And then I'm going to turn you loose to do yours. Okay. And I will add commentary to whatever you're doing.
I am fearful.
And that's okay. This is no time for our Jeff Goldblum imitation. Be afraid. Be very afraid. All right, so I'm picking up some white on my 3/4 inch flat brush, and I'm going to add a little aqua and mix that in. And then I'm going to add a little black to that. So we're just kind of making a...
Are we adding less black than we added aqua?
Yes, we are. Okay. We will always add less black than to anything, yeah. Okay. Because if you add too much black, your pile of paint is just going to turn black and it's not going to be interesting. Okay. All right, so you see I've got, that is not really aqua and it's not really black, it's kind of a aqua gray color. Okay. So that's what we're going for. All right, so you can hold your brush like a pencil this time when you get going. Okay. And yes, it might be easier for you. I mean, you are really doing double duty because you're learning something, you've had 0 time to paint, and you're doing it on camera in front of the world. All right, so we're going to just take our brush and paint right along the edge as straight and neatly as you can. And then we're going to do the same thing down here along the bottom. Just filling this in. And then I want you to make sure to use plenty of paint this time. And you are a good Southern boy like I am, so we are mayonnaise eaters. And so I want you to put this on like you're putting mayonnaise on bread. Okay. Not dry, should glide on there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And we are putting this like mayonnaise should go, from edge to edge on the bread. No dry.
It's the only way.
Yes. My dad was like, there better not be that dry area around the edge of that bread. So we are putting this on, filling in our vase entirely with this kind of aqua gray color. And because we have enough paint on our vase, we can take a paper towel, and this will help keep paint off your hands. You're gonna lay your paper towel down, put your brush on it, fold your paper towel over, pinch and pull the brush through.
That was slick.
Pro tip for you, yes.
Like
all right.
That.
All right. Now I'm going to just pick up a little bit more white on the brush, and we're going to put a highlight on our vase. So we're going to put that on, applying pressure, and then we're going to use less pressure and soften that highlight in. Mine disappeared. So I'm simply going to do it again. Pick up the white, apply it with pressure, and then using less pressure, we're just going to soften that in. Don't want to overblend it or mess with it too much. That's probably more than enough messing with that, and now I've gone and really played in it too much. But anyway, we are going with the flow, so highlight on. Now, while this is still wet, that's why we put enough paint on there. I'm going to take the same color Add a little more
I
black.
can't believe there's more to this step. I thought surely I would have gotten a break in the action. And
No,
I could
no,
start.
no. We'll go over all the steps again.
Okay.
So adding a little black and Prussian blue to this mix. We're going to darken right along the edge of the vase. And again, we're just patting this on and a little bit at the bottom. I'm going to wipe the excess paint off my brush and we're going to soften that in. Now, one thing I have not told you is that we are going to clean up everything and fix everything at the end of this painting using some magic markers. So I know that you are a big-time doodler. So
I got
you
the doodling down.
Yeah. All right. So that's our vase.
Awesome.
All right. So let's just go over the steps again.
Yeah, this is going to be a train wreck. Let's get it.
It's not going to be a train wreck. Maybe slight derailment, but not a wreck. All right. So white plus aqua plus a tiny bit of black. We're going to go ahead and brush mix that up. Make sure that you're mixing up a good amount of paint.
This seems like more paint than I was using before, right?
Yes, it should be.
Okay.
Because I don't want this to dry on you before you're done.
Okay.
So aqua next.
Aqua. More aqua, less aqua? Probably more, right?
Probably more.
Okay.
I'm really trying to let you be the engineer of your own train as you do this.
That is the wrong move.
No, no, no. You're doing good. All right. Now don't forget to add just a little tiny bit of black to begin with. Yep. Mix that in. There you go.
Okay.
Now, if you want your vase to be more aqua, you can add some more aqua to it.
You know, I think I do.
Yep. I thought you would.
Yeah. That felt like more of a suggestion.
Well, I mean, this is your painting. You get to do what you want to do. It's your world. Your vase can be whatever color you want it to be.
All right.
There you go. All right, so let's go ahead and paint our vase.
So you started chisel?
However it's comfortable for you.
Okay.
I'm not going to, just jump in there.
Okay.
Don't let your guidelines be your girdles. Just, kind of look at you go. You've seen people use the chisel edge of that brush before.
I know these words.
That's impressive. There are so many people that would have wanted to use a number 8 flat and just paint, forever to get something done.
Me, a number 8 flat?
No, not you.
No.
You've watched me too often. Don't send a boy to do a man's job. I got a million of these little quotes. But you're just going to fill in that vase solid with your color mixture of aqua, white, and black.
And I noticed when you did it, you went up the whole time. You didn't swirl it. You
No,
didn't do
not
any of that
swirl it.
nonsense. So
Just-
I'm gonna
There you go.
imitate the master here.
That's right, Grasshopper.
Like Karate Kid.
You're gonna do well. Karate Kid was after my time, so I was Kung Fu.
And see, my time it was the Jaden Smith Karate Kid.
Oh yeah, no. I'm
No.
sorry, I can't even with him.
Where did you stop? Right at the
Just kind
bottom
of
the
at
pedals?
where the pedals are. Yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna cover those up.
Okay, all right.
So then just get that one other edge nice and neat.
Which edge?
The one that's not. That's it.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to wipe our brush off.
Yeah, I remember this part.
Yes. It was fascinating. There you go. Put that down and wipe. How nice is that? You're not covered in paint.
Well,
I see so many people who end up, a little paint's fine.
already there.
But I see so many people who will grab and wad up a paper towel and then they've got it all over their hands and they're making a mess and nobody needs that. All right, so we're going to go back into our mixture of paint and we're going to add a little bit of black to that and a little bit of Prussian blue. There you go.
Threw me for a loop. I forgot which one was Prussian blue for a second.
Well, it's easy to forget, and if you are kind of new to painting, it's not unheard of to go ahead and write the names of your paint. That's another pro tip for you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's put our dark down the left side and across the bottom of our vase.
Okay. This doesn't feel like a lot of paint.
Well, you don't really need that much paint right now. See, you've got dark on there. You're applying your shadows to the vase, so that's good. You're just going to apply it with pressure. You might need to put a little bit more on there.
Didn't I say?
Well, there you go.
Didn't I say this doesn't feel like a lot of paint
Well,
here?
it's okay. I mean, you're doing good.
Okay, apply with pressure.
There you go. Look at that.
That feels right.
All right, now wipe your brush. You can get more paper towels. We
Yeah,
got
I'm gonna
plenty.
need more
Yeah,
paper
We
towels.
got plenty. So I got you a big stack of them.
You knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming, and it's fine.
Okay.
It's great. All right, so now you're just going to soften that shadow in a little bit using less pressure. Look at you go. It's like you've been painting forever.
It's like I've been watching you guys paint this whole time.
There you go. All right, so stop with that.
Okay.
Wipe your brush off again.
Okay.
And now we're going to pick up just some white by itself.
How much? I don't remember.
Some. Just
That's not helpful, Andy.
That's enough. Now, kind of make a little place there to work some of that into your brush a little bit.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to put some of that on, not all the way to the right-hand edge of the vase, inside a little bit.
Somewhere in this
Uh-huh.
part of town over
Yep,
here?
that part of town's great.
Okay.
There you go. Look at that. Now wipe your brush off. And
We're
less
just
pressure,
gonna-
and you're just going to tickle the edges of that and soften that highlight in. I swear, Stephen, you look like you have been. That's it. Stop. No more. You're done.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Looks
okay.
great.
All right.
You look like somebody that has secretly been practicing this.
I assure you, I have
Okay,
not.
I'm going to believe you. Let's put out some fun colors on our palette. Let's put out a little bit of yellow ochre, which is our straw color.
Andy, I thought that most okra was green, not yellow.
Ochre. Ochre is green. This is ochre.
Ochre.
Love that. So that's one of those classic paint names, the yellow ochre.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times Prussian blue was called Persian blue.
Yeah.
And there was an oil paint color called alizarin crimson, and so many students called it lizard crimson.
Lizard crimson.
So yeah,
While we're talking about this, can I ask another question?
you can.
What is a dioxazine?
I don't know. Dioxazine, it's a chemical name. It's a synthetic pigment. Some paints have earth tone names like burnt umber and burnt sienna. We're going to put both of them out.
Oh, okay. That worked out.
Yep, it certainly did. So like burnt umber, burnt sienna, those are earth tone colors, and so they have really easy, natural sounding names. And then, you get chemistry involved. That's great.
Okay.
So you get chemistry involved, and then you've got weird color names that nobody can pronounce. All right, so let's shift to our number 12 flat brush, which is this kind of medium-sized flat brush there.
Probably the one that says 12 on it, right?
It does, in fact, say 12 on that.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to do a little bit of this, and then you're going to get to dive in and do it as well. So I'm picking up some yellow ochre, and this is going to be the darkish part of our sunflower.
Okay.
Now, you're studying that like it's
I need
good.
to pretend it's not there, right?
You don't have to pretend it's not there, but let's go ahead so that you're not worried about this and put out some hot saffron, which is going to be like an orangey color, so that you know that's coming. And let's see, what else do we need to put out? Let's put out a little asphaltum, which is actually going to be the color of tar. So it's a very dark brown color.
Hence, asphalt.
Asphaltum.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. You are one clever guy.
A+ student.
And so we'll also go ahead and put out a little true burgundy. So you see there's a lot going to be happening relatively shortly.
Okay.
Okay, so back to our yellow ochre, holding our brush again, gripping it at the end of the handle, and we are going to pat this color around the centers of the sunflower. Doesn't have to be a lot of paint. We're going right around the center. I know you're waiting for some other exciting...
Can I?
You can,
Okay,
yeah, absolutely,
okay.
yes.
I didn't know if this was a finger wagging moment or
No,
not.
no finger wagging for you today. We're having fun with this. We are enjoying ourselves. I don't know if you are or not, but
I am enjoying
this
myself.
is fun. This is, if you get into painting, it is a very relaxing thing to do. You can't generally think about other things. You can't worry about anything else while you're painting.
And at the end of the day, I get to take this home.
Yes.
Do something with it.
Share it with your loved ones.
Yeah. My mom is an artist. She might like this as a gift.
Yes, she might like this as a gift. If nothing else, she will sing your praises, and that's always a very good thing. So nothing bad can come from this.
I feel like I'm making very rigid lines around the circle.
I am 100% sure that you are worried a lot more about this than I am.
Okay. I need to just give in.
Just relax and let it go.
Okay.
Yeah,
How's
okay,
that?
that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now let's put out one more color here. Let's put out a little bit of thicket, which is a dark green color.
Sap green.
Sap green is a dark green color, but thicket's the one we want today.
Okay.
And I'm just setting my big brush out of the way. There you go. Okay. So we are going to continue using our number 12 flat brush, just holding it in the palm of your hand.
The wizard way.
The wizard way, exactly. All right, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of thicket on my brush. And what I'm going to do is, you can tune into this, I'm going to go kind of right around some of those sunflower petals, and then I'm making a leaf shape.
Oh, just make a leaf shape?
You've got leaf shapes there that you've done, and yes, that's it. We are making a leaf shape. That's all we're doing.
It feels like one of those like drawing books you get as a kid, and then it's like step 1, make a circle, and then step 2 is draw the rest of the owl.
Yes.
That's what just happened.
Well, I don't mean it to be that that daunting, because it's not really, but watch again.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to put a leaf down here. So I'm going to start right around the sunflower petals, and I'm going to just make a leaf shape. It's like folding in the cheese. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right.
So we're just putting that on there, and we got 3 leaves to do, so I'm sure that you can tackle this.
Will you watch me do this one?
I
so
will.
that we-
I will
okay.
watch you very closely.
I've already forgotten how you see it.
Just go right around those petals, and then you're just going to make that shape of a leaf.
Hang on, I need more.
You need a little more paint. That's fine.
Okay. You just closed it off like that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that answer didn't require any extra effort there.
I was reading into that. Mm-hmm.
No, there's no. I mean, it's just we're putting it on there.
Okay.
Now, I would make the leaf a little bit wider over here so that it can taper up to that little point.
Okay.
And also, you can pick up your canvas and turn it around if that's easier.
I don't think I've done that yet.
No, you haven't, but that's okay. And then we've got one more leaf over here. See, it is much easier for me to turn it around. And I'm going to make this leaf shape. It's kind of like a triangle that isn't, it's like a triangle that didn't try hard enough. All right, so we've got 3 green leaves. You got 2 on there now. Yeah.
This one just feels like a sad triangle.
Well, make it a little bit rounder over at that part.
Like, yeah?
Like near, exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just near this.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Look, now it's not a sad triangle anymore, is it? You're getting this.
All right. Why wouldn't I just make the outline of it first?
You can.
Oh, well, let me do that then.
If you want to. I just start at the bottom.
Okay.
But if-
Watch this leaf be way better now that I've started it this way.
Now that you feel fully in control of it.
Come on, Andy.
Either way you do it, you're doing a great job with this. All right, so let's make sure that we've covered up our little
Yep.
blank spots there.
Good looking out.
You're doing great. Nothing for your teacher to complain about.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to wipe that green color out of our brush. And here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to take some of the medium yellow and pull it out to the side, and just kind of whatever was left in the brush is happening. So you see we're turning that into a little pile of light green.
Mine is very, very,
Yellow.
yeah.
Okay, pick up a little green, mix it in. There you go. Now you've got a light green color.
Okay.
All right, so then here's what I need you to pay attention to. We're going to lay our brush on the paper towel and just kind of knock the excess paint off the brush. There's still paint on there, but we've taken most of the excess off the outside edge of the brush. Okay, and what we're going to do now...
Let me see your brush. Flip it. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay our brush almost parallel to the surface. That's this way, not that way.
Okay.
And we're going to use not much pressure, and we're going to add some light color onto our leaf. That's why we took the excess off. Now, pro tip, if you start and it looks like you've got way too much paint on your brush, that's your indication to stop, take a little bit more paint off, and then go again.
Okay.
All right? So I'm going to let you do that to all 3 leaves, a little bit of paint, take the excess off, and then we are just laying our brush parallel to the surface. Yep, there you go. That might be a little bit much paint, so
Okay.
maybe take a little bit more off. You just don't want too much paint on there. Hold your, there you go, flat down, you got it. Yeah, you are cooking with gas.
All right.
We're going to go ahead and do that on all, oh, look at that. See what I was talking about? Too
Oh.
much paint?
Did you do that on purpose?
I did not do that on purpose. I was 100% by mistake. Was not paying attention to what I was doing. So I'm going to now just kind of pat that in, but I'm not frantic about it. See, it's not going to show up. We're good. Kind of go across the leaf instead of lengthwise. There you go. All right, we're just getting some highlights on there. Very
Okay.
good.
All right.
All right, so what we need to do now is take another break, and we are going to dry our leaves so that they do not interfere with our sunflowers.
Sounds good.
Okay. We're back. Our paintings are completely dry, and it's nice to be able to have your painting dry so that you can move on without causing yourself any undue stress. So we're going to take our number 12 flat brush, and we're going to pinch it between our paper towels and get as much of that green color out as we can. All right, so having done that, we are going to take our little number 12 flat brush, and we are going to pick up asphaltum. There you go. And we are going to carefully paint in 2 dark circles for our sunflower centers. And we kind of do this like we're painting the letter C a couple of times around our sunflower center. So you understand what we're doing, Stephen?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So this seems simple enough.
You would think it seems simple enough. Look at you going all fancy there.
Yeah, I got this like a pasta twirling technique.
There you
over here.
go, like you are ready to chow down.
Are we going for opaque in the middle of it?
Not really.
Okay.
We're just going for a dark sunflower center. And, you know, this is your world. You can make your sunflower center darker, lighter, whatever you want to do. We are giving you full-on permission to make this your own.
All right.
Okay, now that we've got that done, here's what I want you to pay attention to. I'm going to put part of my brush into true burgundy. I'm just sliding the corner in, and then I'm going to make a couple of little pulls on the palette.
Okay. So one little side of it.
One little corner of the brush is really all we're putting into the true burgundy, and then we're going to make a couple of little pulls. There you go. Now pick, I probably do this on the left and more to the bottom of the sunflower center, but I'm going to take that true burgundy corner, and I'm going to tap, and I want you to look at this for just a second so you can see where I added that red to the center.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm looking at my brush and I feel like I need more burgundy.
Okay, then go ahead and get more burgundy. The burgundy police are not going to pull you over for that.
Thank goodness. Because I cannot take any more points on my burgundy license.
Oh no. That's scary when you have points on your burgundy license.
Nobody needs that.
No, we don't. Okay. Whew. Was a lot of, that's a very advanced technique there, side loading.
I'm not sure that I did anything.
You did.
Okay.
Yep. It's not a big color contrast, but it's there.
Okay.
And it will show up later when you are least expecting it. You'll be looking at this later on today or tonight and go, hey, I can't see that burgundy.
There's that
Yeah,
burgundy.
There's that burgundy. I wasn't giving that burgundy enough credit.
Okay.
Alrighty, very good. So once again, we are going to put our paper towel down, put our brush on it, and wipe that excess paint out of our brush. give it a good press so we get all that color out we can. All right, so I just get rid of those paper towels so they're not lingering in the way, and getting my extra brush out of the way. All right, we are going to start to put in some of our sunflower petals. Now, I want you to watch this. I'm picking up the yellow ochre or yellow ochre, and I'm going to start next to the center, and I'm making a sunflower petal, okay? Then I'm going to do another one.
They're touching too, there's not a gap.
Well, I mean, there might be a little bit of a gap. There might be a little baby sunflower petal there, and then we get a nice big sunflower petal here. The objective, and I guess what I really want you to get, is not the same size, not the same shape, and differently spaced as you go around your sunflower center.
Okay.
It's important that we have some variation. Like that's got kind of a weird little point there, and there's a big gap there that there might not be somewhere else. But we're going around our sunflower center, and we're filling in where we need to. Kind of like here, I'm just filling in between those petals on the other flower. And some people, they just start to fret about, how their sunflower petals look. Is it the right shape? Just get some color on there, and we will fix whatever we need to fix at the last little stages of the painting. I am so glad that I don't have to edit the videos that I'm in.
Do you think they would let us trade jobs for a day, Andy?
I don't think so. I think they want to get... They want us to do our jobs as best we can. That's what I really think they want from us.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I think we are well suited for what we normally do. All right, so there's one sunflower done.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going to point something out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to have all these little white spaces. So make your sunflower petals a little bit bigger there. It will make you seem like a much more confident painter that you did not have, white gaps there. And I'm going to move on to the next sunflower and do the same exact thing. Just kind of getting our sunflower petals filled in with yellow ochre. And everybody's sunflower petals are going to look a little different. And that's exactly what we want. Because I know you don't want yours to look like mine.
I think you're wrong about that, Andy.
I don't know. You are always such a trooper with whatever we're doing, and nothing ever seems to rattle you, which is really very nice to be around.
I just try to have a good attitude about it, and I don't set my expectations for things too high when I'm new at them like this, right?
Okay, that's a very, very good attitude to have. All right, you got another flower to paint.
Oh my gosh, you're already done with the other one, dude.
Well, yes, Dude's been doing this a long time. I have painted
Speed painter over here.
more sunflowers than you can imagine.
I'm sitting here fixating on each individual petal.
Exactly, and that is what a new painter does. As a novice, you get that luxury. You can fixate as much as you want to. Now,
Did you go down over your...
I did go over the base. The one thing I'm going to show you is you've got mountains of paint. Now, wipe that off with your finger.
There's been an incident.
Okay, yeah. Dip your finger in the water. Clean off on the paper towel. Keep with some water, just wipe that off. So we are eliminating that. There you go. Now wipe it up with a paper towel and the mess will be gone.
Wow, it's like field surgery.
It is, but the thing is, it's all taken care of now. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But where we have all of this like really heavy paint, let's kind of take that down a little bit. We don't need mountains of paint on here.
Okay.
There you go. Smoothing it right down.
This doesn't feel like an area for sunflower anymore. This feels like...
Look what we got. We got no white spots.
That's what you did.
Yeah, that's exact. I filled it in, and we are going to make it sunflower, and it's all going to be fine.
Okay.
It's fun to watch you concern yourself about something that I know we're going to take care of. And you just haven't traveled down this road before, so I've been down it. I know how we're going to take care of it, and it's not a problem.
Well, see, this is a problem right here.
Now, there you're learning to put paint in your brush instead of just scooping it up on the brush. So lessons are being learned while you're doing.
Yeah, we're already making progress.
We are.
Okay.
Now, let's take our paper towel and we are going to wipe our brush off again before we move on to phase 2 of sunflower, or Project Sunflower Petal.
Okay.
So I'm going to take some of my medium yellow, which is, this is our medium yellow, and it's also the name of the color.
Okay.
So it works out well that way. I've got my brush holding it back at the end of the handle so that I can make it swing. Okay?
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to pick a petal, doesn't matter which petal. Let's start over here in this mess because you're like, I don't see a single petal.
Yeah, I see no petals down here.
Okay, so where you don't think you see a petal, I'm going to start near the center. And now do you see a petal?
Yeah, I do.
It's amazing how that happens.
You just made that appear out of nowhere.
Well, and that's what you're going to do too. And you don't have to do all of them, but we are going to kind of just loosely paint some of our petals in with the medium yellow color. Okay, always put the paint in your brush before you start on your painting. That will make sure that you have less likely to make kind of put too much paint on there. All right, let's watch this again, because I want you to pay attention to how we are putting this paint on. And again, you are having the luxury of learning, not having a chance to practice doing and doing it for the internet. We're starting near the center and we are coming out to the end, and I am coming across the petal.
Okay.
All right, so I think that might be easier than trying to paint
I was just
lengthwise.
like DJ scratching over here.
DJ Scribble. Or maybe today it's Spinderella, who knows. All right, so once again, just start, and we're going to come out at the end and just stroke across the sunflower petal. Now, there are all different ways to paint sunflower petals. Sometimes I'll get out my small painting knife and we'll trowel some paint on, do all sorts of different things. But for today, we are starting near the center and then painting across the sunflower petals. Look at you go. Look at you go. That's exactly how it happens.
Yeah, man, I'm moving up.
You are doing a great job, Stephen.
Thank you.
It's not hard painting, but I think it's a little bit, not everybody, has to do it live and on camera.
Yeah.
That just adds a little.
You guys remember that when you're watching this.
That just adds a little bit to the overall pressure.
Got some muddy action happening here.
Oh, that's because we had too much yellow ochre.
I see that.
If you want to stop, we can pause and let you dry that paint, which probably would not be a bad thing.
Okay. I was going to say I'm just going to roll with it.
Oh, well, listen, if you're rolling, we're rolling right along with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. We can stop if you need to.
I think I'm just going to work with what I got.
Okay.
Andy, somebody here told me one time, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine who told you that. What an idiot. That idiot would be me.
He probably wears yellow shirts and paints sunflowers a lot,
Yes,
whoever he is.
Probably. I think far too often people are incredibly, what's the word I'm trying to use? They're harsh on their paintings, and you don't need to beat yourself up for, learning a new technique, learning a new way to do something. It's a lot of fun, and every time you paint something, it's not necessarily going to be, a hit record. So just take it for what it is and have fun. I think that's the most important takeaway from all of this that we do, is that it is fun while you're doing it.
I think I'm the kind of person who, if I don't feel like I'm instantly good at something the first time I do it, I don't want to do it again. And
Well,
that is,
you know,
this is a good exercise in letting that go.
I wonder how many people feel exactly like that. And, you know, I cook a lot and eat a lot, it's obvious, but if the first time you cook something, if it doesn't turn out great, if you thought, well, I'm never cooking again, you come down to not really having much choice of what to eat. So I'm always about, you know, just try something. If it doesn't work the first time, give it another try. You can always improve.
I'm liking this second sunflower I've done more than the first one.
That's because you've had more time to practice.
See how that works?
I do see how that works. But you're catching on and you are just going with it. Probably should have brought a palette knife to turn you loose with that.
Oh gosh, one thing at a time, Andy. I just learned how to hold the brush, man. I don't need to switch it all up again.
It's okay. We're not going to do that to you today.
Thank you. I think I'm happy with this.
Okay, then we are ready to move on. Yeah.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Now I'm happy with
Okay,
this.
perfect. All right, so we're going to wipe our brush off again. Let's pick up a little bit of orange or hot saffron on our brush. And let's work that into the brush pretty well. Don't need a ton of paint on our brush. Very small amount of paint on our brush. And I'm going to, maybe on this back sunflower here, you see how I've got almost no paint? All right, so I'm going to scrub a little bit of orange on to a petal here and there. And then because, Stephen, I've got such a small amount of paint, I can paint, and I'm not filling it in. Okay?
Okay.
All right,
Just
so
adding a little interest here.
that is exactly what we're doing. Oh my God, my words are echoing back to me.
I'm becoming Andy.
Oh, I'm so sorry that that's happening to you right now. It should not have to happen to anyone.
So am I trying to put this orange on one side?
It doesn't really matter because we're going to put a little bit on this front sunflower too, but mostly we're putting it kind of here in the back, just here and there. Like you said, we're just adding some interest and just scrubbing a little color on. So that's basically what I've done. So instead of, you're working right up on the edge of your brush, go ahead and work a little bit on the flat portion.
Okay.
There you go. Look at how good that's working out for you.
We're getting somewhere.
You are indeed. And I think the sunflower just needs something so that it's not just all yellow. So got a little bit of orange going on here and there. And we're not going to overdo. That's, you know, we're getting there. Put a little bit on your front sunflower too, just so that we don't have, you know, a color that's completely isolated on our painting. We're just going to scrub a little bit on the front sunflower so that our orange is repeated.
I think what I'm learning my biggest problem is loading paint onto the brush.
Well, and that's, you know, until you've painted a while and you learn more about how the paint behaves, it's, you know, it's all part of the learning curve. Okay, that's good. So let's now, because we don't have much paint on, you see I've got almost no paint on my brush. I'm going to pick up some of my lighter yellow color, which is lemon yellow.
Can I just point out real quick the difference between your palette and my palette?
Yeah. I mean,
this is chaos.
This is someone who is learning how to do everything today. And this is somebody who's done this for 40 years.
Right.
All right. So you were talking about kind of the chaos that is your palette. So when I go to load my brush, I start at the edge of the puddle of paint and I create a little loading zone so that I'm working the paint into the bristles of my brush. All right. So I'm pulling the paint away from the palette into a little loading zone. So this is where I do most of the work on my palette, is in my loading zone. All right, so I've got a little orange puddle of paint here now, and once again we're going to pinch and wipe that orange color out, and I'm going to pick up some more of my, I can never remember the name of this color, this lemon yellow, and I'm going to not have too much paint in my brush. So you could see there you go, that's more like your loading zone there. All right, so I've got less paint and I'm going to start at the end of some of my petals. So as they say for the younger people, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. And we're going to start out at the end, and you can see how I'm making that petal much lighter. And we're going to do that on any number of petals. Start out at the end, and we're working across the sunflower petal, and we're just creating brighter yellow petals here and there. Doesn't have to be on all of them, and it shouldn't really be on all of the sunflower petals, but here and there we're going to make some of these brighter, more at the ends than down toward the center.
Okay.
All right, so
Can I get going?
you can get going, absolutely.
All right.
If you understand the assignment, you are welcome to get going. Sorry about that. I don't know if that's an Instagram reference there.
It's definitely a Gen Z reference for sure.
And I am absolutely not a Gen Z person. I think I am at the tail end of the boomers. So whatever boomer reference you want to fire at me, feel free.
If I think of one, I'll let it out.
Right, so I'm just going to work around my sunflower, making some of the petals brighter, not all of them.
I think my strategy is to brighten up the ones that sort of fizzled out.
Okay, let's go across the petal instead of up and down. See? There you go. Now you can control the shape of your sunflower petal. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
It is.
Surprising that some of my little hints actually are very good hints.
It's like you know what you're doing or something.
You know, I learned from the best, I will tell you that. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of white, and I'm going to put it right over here on my palette near my yellow, and I'm going to create a light, very pale yellow color. And then I'm going to wipe it out of my brush. So you got that done, so let's wipe it out of your brush, and then we're going to load our brush again with that same mixture that I just had you wipe out of your brush. But that's getting rid of any kind of color that we really don't want. So I've got a super pale yellow here, and we've introduced white to it, so that's going to make our yellow much more opaque or have better coverage.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to take a few of my really light sunflower petals, and I'm going to add some of this really light yellow. If it's too light, add a little bit more of the lemon yellow to it. We just want to make some of these petals really, really bright. And you see that I'm not really covering the whole petal, mostly out at the ends. So tapping that on, making some of these petals brighter. And we're going to do it to both sunflowers.
Another thing I'm noticing is that a lot of my paint doesn't stay on the end. It goes towards the ferrule.
Yep. You are picking up a lot of paint, and if you'll notice, see how high your brush is held up?
This?
Mine is down this way. So I'm working that paint into the bristles of the brush. So again, it's, years of practice versus starting out. And that's very normal, very typical. At least you are noticing, what you're doing. I think there are some people who start painting and they never evaluate, what they're doing, their own work. But because you have to evaluate things while you're editing videos and making sure that your transitions are right and, all of that kind of stuff, you're used to kind of checking your work as you go.
I'm liking how this is turning out.
Very good. We're going to do a little bit of highlighting to our sunflower centers. So I'm going to take, we've got nice dark color on there, so getting most of the color out of the brush, I want to pick up a very small amount, and notice again, I'm putting my brush pretty flat down on the palette as I'm loading a little bit of my hot saffron on there.
Okay.
So that's about how much paint I have on my brush.
Okay.
And I'm going to, over on the left or dark side of the sunflower, I'm going to dab on a little bit of orange. But see, there's not that much color going on there. And we'll do it on both centers.
So we're just taking hot saffron and kind of putting it over the burgundy that we had here,
Yeah,
right?
we're making our sunflower centers have a little interesting orange color to them.
Okay.
All right, so we're wiping out our brush, and we are going to pick up a little bit of medium yellow, and I want you to watch. I'm going in with the corner of my brush and then moving that out. So I just have a little bit of yellow basically on half the brush. Okay, let's flip that over. Exactly, look, those brushes are twins. Ta-da. Perfect. All right, so over on the right or light side of our sunflower center, I'm going to kind of dab and pat a little bit of that on and do it on both sunflower centers. And that's basically what we want, is just some, look at you go.
That was pretty good.
That
if I do
is
say so myself.
absolutely what we're after. And we're gonna do the same thing with our lemon yellow. Pick up a little bit from our puddle of paint and then soften it out so that we have it just on half of our brush again. Look at you go, okay. And then we're gonna do the same highlight on our sunflower centers, taking up a little less space. Okay, so we're putting some on, not as much, so our highlight's lighter and it takes less space. There, look at you.
I don't know that I haven't.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
You knew something wasn't right. You
had to
stopped
take
it.
action.
Yes, you stopped, you checked it, and that's exactly what we want to do. All right, so let's we're just gonna give a once over to our painting and see if everything is kind of where we want it. And I'm giving your painting the once over there. Okay. And what I think we need to do.
There's a lot happening or not happening over here.
Yes, so what we're gonna make happen is you're gonna pick up with this number 12 flat brush, you're gonna pick up some thicket and you're gonna work that into the brush. So we've got color in the brush, not necessarily making a big coating on the outside of the brush. Okay, now you're just gonna kind of come in and paint right around that sunflower, and then we're gonna fill in a little bit of that white area. Okay. So no problems there. I've got a little bit of a white spot here that I'm gonna fill in on mine and make this area a little less white. This is, before we finish up, this is when you can check anything and make changes. Because until you're done, you're not done. So I think we're good with that.
Cool.
All right, so we're going to take a momentary pause because we need our painting to be 100% dry, no chance of moisture.
Okay.
Okay, we are back. We have paintings that are dry to the touch. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of clear the decks a little bit. We're done with our paint for right now, or for today, so I'm going to toss the palette away. Okay. And then I am bringing out the big guns. I'm bringing out Sharpie markers. Now, I know Stephen is a big-time doodler, and so he is going to take to this very easily. I'm going to start out with my big king-size Sharpie marker and make a few marks on here just to set the stage, and then I'm going to hand the big marker over to Stephen, and he can do the marks on his painting. So I know I want the left or dark side of my vase to have a nice big dark line on it, but I'm not going to do the whole thing completely. So you see there's a little gap, it's a little wavy there, and then we'll do the same thing, giving a little bit of really heavy mark across the bottom there. So that's probably some of the darkest lines we're going to have on our vase, and maybe we'll just create a little bit of a shadow here underneath our sunflowers on those leaves there, and we'll give a little bit of a broken mark around our sunflower center. Now, we're doing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's fun, it's kind of quirky, it looks cool, and I don't want Stephen to have to think that he needs to do all of this with a liner brush because he's not had practice and that's not fair to him. So doodle away, add some really dark marks to yours.
Well, I liked your idea of having it on the side with shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Have this kind of line here.
Yep, and I love that you are breaking your line up because there's nothing worse than somebody making solid outlines. That didn't help anybody.
And again, this was good having it on the shadow side.
Yes, indeed. That's where we're going with this. Okay. You are one clever man.
See, the doodle is my game.
There you go. I know you are all about that. All right, so I don't want you to get carried away with that because there's more doodling to come.
Putting it down.
All right, so I'm picking up what is considered a fine point marker. It's just a normal
Standard Sharpie.
Standard Sharpie. And so I'm going to give a little bit of shape and form to these leaf shapes a little bit. And I am obviously not spending a ton of time with this, just whipping some on.
Okay.
So there you go.
Let's see here.
There you go. I mean, this is, as a teacher, watching somebody really just kind of take to the lesson that they were given, not to have solid lines. That's great. That is exactly what we are looking for. Okay, so I'm going to let you cap that marker.
Okay.
Don't keep playing in it now.
All right.
All right, so I've got my really fine pointed little Sharpie here, and we're going to do some doodling around our sunflower petals. And I don't want to make solid outlines. You can see I'm doing a very broken outline here. And this is defining those sunflower petals. So I didn't have to do this with my brush because I'm able to do it very loosely and casually with this marker. So I think you have got the idea about exactly how this is going to go. And everybody who doodles, and we're going to doodle a little bit around the right side of this flower. And if I want to, I can add, some of these finer lines here and there. I did put a little bit down this side. And I can come down the dark side with some more little marks, come across the bottom here, can add a little bit of
You're freestyling now. You're going crazy.
Yeah, I am, because it's, number one, it's a lot of fun. And number two, it really does give your painting quite a bit of personality. And I want you just to see, kind of how casual I'm doing this, so that anybody who's doing this at home, there will be people who will do that. And that is nowhere near as fun as something like that is. This is so much more spontaneous.
You gotta cut loose sometimes,
You do, and sometimes cutting loose is the hardest thing to do. But I think I'm gonna give just a little bit of action up there, and I'm gonna stop because no, I'm gonna do a little. I can't stand
Andy,
it.
please.
Just have to get a little bit going on there. But this is it's a very fun way to add interest to that. So turning that over to you, and I'm going to let you just show your doodling skills how you want to. Okay. There you go. And everybody is going to have their own very distinctive style of doodling, just like your handwriting. You can't kind of escape.
Let's not even go there, because my handwriting is beyond chicken scratch.
Well, when I was in elementary school, we used to get a letter grade for our penmanship. So I would hit the honor roll except for a C in penmanship. And I think they just did not want to fail my handwriting. So you get all A's and a C, and that was always very disappointing to me that my handwriting looked so horrible. And part of it was changing schools and grades during the time when they taught you how to write in cursive.
I'll do it, man.
So I missed the how to write in cursive, and there was no, oh, you don't know how to write in cursive, you can keep printing. It's like, no, everything has to be in cursive now.
Okay.
All right, so are you happy with that?
I am. I'm feeling good about this.
Perfect. All right, then the last thing we need to do is sign our painting.
Oh, we just talked about this, Andy. I can't do that.
However, you can print it if you want to. Nobody's gonna. There you go. Perfect. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
So, thanks for being here in studio with me and having a paintbrush in your hand this time.
Thank you for teaching me to paint.
My pleasure. So, we'll be back with more art talk.